Hey everyone, this is Chris from Meeple Overboard, here with an unboxing video of this gigantic beast of a game, Twilight Imperium 4th edition. I found this on Amazon for a warehouse deal, and that typically means that there's some damage on the box or something. It says Amazon warehouse deals inspected, so not sure what that means. We're going to open it up and see if it's damaged or anything, but this is overall just going to be an unboxing video, so you all can see what it is like to open a brand new copy of 4th edition of Twilight Imperium. Includes 354 plastic miniatures. Ugh. Well, now that's to the side. Let's open this up. Okay, so, yay, advertisements. Oh my goodness, this is the thickest advertisement book I think I've ever seen. Yeah, it is Fantasy Flight. Garbage. Well, okay, so all the tiles are still wrapped. Here's all of the strategy cards, 1 through 8. You draft these and then take their actions kind of Puerto Rico style, where one player gets the primary ability, all the others can choose to use the secondary. Here's all the punch-out tokens, extra fighters and extra ground units. Here's the victory point track with the 14 victory point side. Don't play with that, play to 10 on the other side. All of the planets. Upgrade from 3rd edition is that these have these cool, like, sci-fi looking thingies on it. So that is a lot of sheets of punch-outs that I'm going to have a ton of fun with. All right, moving on. The How to Play manual, which is still sizable just to get you into the fun of the game. Oh, that is lengthy. But, this is useful, different setups for the different number of players that you're going to be doing. Quick reference with an entire page worth of stuff. Then, there's the lore compendium. And this is just amazing art and the stories of the history of Mechatal Rex, which is the capital, the fall of it, the Twilight Wars, which I think is what you're doing, or this is the tail end of the Twilight Wars or something. Dang. Ooh, the Necrovirus. So, that's a War Sun, and that is something bigger than a War Sun, which is beyond me. So anyway, here's the Space Lions. Just a book of story, and then the actual rules reference. This is the actual rule book for the game that is going to be more thorough and explain everything compared to the How to Play, which is just what you need to know to start. Ooh, it comes with an index. That's always a good idea if you're going to have a 30-page rule book. Have an index of terms to look up. So anyway, 3 books. I'm not too intimidated. Feast for Odin kind of did the same thing. These are cool. These are your... this is where you're going to hold on to your strategy tokens, right, for tactics, strategy, fleet size and stuff. Player sheet here. And these are double-sided, so you can have them left-hand-sided or right. And they come in 6 different player colors. 17 different playable factions. Cool bag for which to store them in, I guess. 17, which is all of the ones from base Twilight Imperium, and then all the ones from 3rd edition, and then the 7 extra that I guess you would get in the expansions. So those also have a bunch of story and stuff on the back, unique story about every single one of them. And yeah, some of them are creepier and weirder looking than the others. These guys kind of look like little Smeagol's. All right, plastic insert. First Fantasy Flight games ever to come with a plastic insert. It seems like you might want to actually take this one out and put the cardboard punchy stuff underneath that. If that's a trick you don't know about, if you notice, right, you see here, there's like almost a whole inch between the top of the insert and the top of the box. So, I don't know, with a lot of games, what you do is after you punch out all of the big pieces and stuff, there's like the leftover frames. So with a lot of games, you take those leftover frames and you put them underneath the insert, and that's actually going to raise it so you don't have this big of a gap. So I might try that and see if that works well for this game. I'm not sure. Mic cable, sorry about that. So we will see. I'll have to let you know afterwards. Player ships. Oh my goodness. These are upgraded models from the 3rd edition. One thing that you have to do is you have to assemble the War Suns. So this is not an entire War Sun, this is the top half of one. And you got to find the bottom half of one. But anyway, there are all sorts of cool things. Here's your PDS, right, which is like your space cannon, and then ground troops are represented by these little flag bearers and such. Carriers have these cool looking like pods on the side so that you can carry stuff in them. Anyway, there's all sorts of different ships. Very cool looking stuff. Your dreadnoughts and your space docks where you can build units. If you think of this kind of as like StarCraft, this is where you can actually build all of the stuff and whatnot. I think these are cruisers. The one thing is that the models are a little bit less clear between each other than the 3rd edition models were, but they are really sharp looking. Like they have a good amount of detail on everything there. So I think that that's pretty cool. And then here's the bottom half of one of your not Death Stars. They're called War Suns. I don't know if you have to glue them together or if you can just kind of... there's a trick to it. Yeah, so maybe they just lock into place or something. But anyway, that is your War Sun, one of your most intimidating units. So 6 player colors, because this game can go on forever, so why not have 6? So yeah, the same ship, same bunch of miniatures and stuff. Underneath this is where all of the decks of cards are. So these are your objective cards. You've got more objective cards, and I don't remember what all of this stuff is. I have not yet played 4th edition. I've played 3rd. Your technology now has the cool little things like this, where if you upgrade your carriers, you're actually going to put this right over the carrier area. So here's carrier level 1. If you were to build this technology, you place it right over, and it becomes carrier 2. So it becomes a quicker way to reference all of your upgrades and stuff for your ships. The technology is streamlined and made a lot simpler than it was in the 3rd edition. In fact, I wonder if I can show a little bit of that if you've never played. So these are your ship technologies, but there's also these type of technologies. These are non-ship upgrades, and what you can do with this is the Geranium Armor gives you this cool ability, right? You can repair one of your damaged units that has sustained damage, right? Sure, that's a thing. But what you need is you need to have 2 red technology prerequisites. So every time you build a red technology, it gives you a red technology that you can use as a prerequisite. This is a lot simpler than the previous systems from 3rd edition, where instead of just having this nice, easy little prereq system, like college classes and stuff, right? These ones are your starting ones that have no prereqs. Instead, in the 3rd edition, there's this gigantic map that would say, like, oh, you have to have this in order to build these things, which has a prereq over here and over there and there. So this is way nicer of a system. So that's a huge improvement point for me. Here's more of the tech cards. Yep, so lots of tech because each race has to have their own technology cards as well. All the planets are going to have their own cards, and the art looks very good in them. I am pretty impressed with how this one looks so far. I think these are your action cards that you can use on your turn, as well as just doing other stuff. So, place for everything. There's a plastic insert. It comes with 2, 4, 6, 8 10-sided dice, all in black. Being a person who played Risk growing up, I do wish that some of them were red for attackers and black for defense, but anyway, that's super unnecessary. That is a lot of 10-sided dice. We might just throw in some of our own from our like D&D sets when we play, just for funsies, to have different colors. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is, that's Twilight Imperium 4th edition, what you can expect to find in the box. I'm going to have some fun punching out everything that you see here, and then I'll figure out how it all fits into the box nice and neatly. Hey, so I decided to, after punching out and putting away everything, show off what's inside the box here. As you see, I ran out of little baggies, and I'll show you why that's important here in a second. So let's open this up. Oh, it's so heavy. Okay, so this is how I put everything inside, and I don't know if it's all right. So the 3 manuals on top, the sheets for the races, and then the control panels, or whatever they're called. That all across the top. And I did use the plastic insert. So what you'll see is under each of the ships of like the yellow player are all of the yellow technology cards. So this will be specific to the yellow player. Trade agreements, or not trade agreements, but promissory notes here. All the different technologies that will be related to the yellow player. And that way, everyone can just pick one section and grab the stuff from there. Now, the rest of these tiles, the command tokens and such, I'm going to put into baggies and then just throw here on the side. Can fit 6 of them here, so another 6 there, and then the remaining few on top of these, and that'll be just fine. Dice don't need to be in a bag, so the dice are just in here. The small little bits, like this goes on Mechatol Rex, the capital. I just put those on top of the tiles. And then I put 4 of the strategy cards here on top of each stack of the tiles. That allows this special planet Creus to fit up here just fine. And I put the victory point tracker here across the top. And then what I did was underneath each of these big stacks of tiles, which are very easy to pull out, here is the mandate cards, or the laws that you vote on during the political phase of the game. So that goes here under the tiles. And I put those 4 back on. That way, that way everything should just stay in there pretty well. These ships do a good job of keeping those cards that are down there in there, even when you tip the box on the side. Not sure if this is how it's intended, but I've got the planet cards here in one of these little pockets, along with some of the excess tokens. These are like the tokens for the fighters. I feel like I do need some smaller bags. I just ran out and wanted to try and make this work for the most part. So then these are the race-specific promissory notes and technology cards that are in here. Put that in with some of the other tokens. These are the extra ground forces. And then the last one over here is the action cards, right? Huge fatty stack of action cards, and I just put that in here with the trade goods. And so what are they called? Trade goods and something else, right? Before you trade them, they're not useful to you. So anyway, I need to bag the rest of these. I need to go buy, I'm going to go to probably the Walmart beads department, where they have like the little knickknacks and stuff. That's where you can find little bags that are perfect size for these. So with everything in here, I'm just going to do this really quick for the camera and to show off, right? Because people complained, I've read a lot of people complaining about this plastic insert provided by Fantasy Flight. I don't actually mind it. I think that it's going to be useful. And I'm going to do this test here. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to stand it up, right? A lot of people don't like to stand up games when they've got those plastic inserts in there, you know, the vacuum form or inserts or whatever they're called, because they're worried stuff is going to fall out and just tumble everywhere. So now, open her up again, and look, stuff is not everywhere. This thing doesn't stay in its little place, that's whatever. And then these cards, the strategy cards, might move around a little bit. But if you look under here, all the player cards, all of the individual player technology, the color technologies aren't like flying everywhere or anything. So I'm sure that that's going to be just fine. I'm not worried about how this is basically going to all come out. So I can stand it up, I can display it. I think the insert's going to be useful just fine. It does take a few extra baggies though, because I don't know where you would put these, honestly, if you didn't bag them. So that's unfortunately necessary. It's not like a perfect thing where everything has a little spot, but that's fine. Stuff usually kind of falls out of that. Last thing I wanted to show off in this unboxing is this little fella right here. Proof of purchase, Twilight Imperium 4th edition. If you collect 3 of these and mail them in, I think Fantasy Flight Games mails you a decoder ring. Ha 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 ha. Hopefully. Anyway, just kidding. So, that is Twilight Imperium 4th edition. I am excited to bust this bad boy out. And this is Chris from Meeple Overboard. Thanks for watching.